Hello, Dr. Shannon PT here with another episode of Need to Know in 5. Today I'm going to go over with you the top 5 questions that I usually get asked about the balance box. I thought this would be a great way to give you a little bit additional information on the background and why it's designed the way that it is. The first question we have is, why are there springs in the feet? Yes, there are springs, and it is a little bit different, especially when you look at it. A lot of people think that there's wheels, but there's not. Reason being, we know that the wheels on the push toy walkers tend to move a little too fast for our little ones. So when I was designing the balance box, I tried a bunch of different materials, and that I found the springs were a great resource to have in the bottom of the feet for a couple of reasons. Number one, when your little one's pushing on the top surface of the balance box, the springs compress, creating a natural drag or braking mechanism to help slow them down when they're moving on a little bit faster surface. The springs also provide great stimulation to the neurological system when the child's leaning on the top surface. As the springs compress and then when they rebound, that back and forth motion helps wake up the neurological system and makes it more stimulated. So this is a great way for a child's body to get a little bit more of that sensory input and proprioception, which is so important for their neurological system, their spinal cord, their brain, and then their muscles to get more information and help with that development and laying that strong foundation when they're going through these gross motor skills. The second question I get asked a lot is, how did you come up with the height of the balance box? Because the balance box is a little bit different height than traditional push toys that are on the market. It's a little bit shorter. Why? Because I looked at the normative values for when a child is starting to pull to stand. And I found that the kids are a little bit shorter at this point when they're making that transition of going from a tall kneel to a stand. So with the balance box being a little bit shorter, it allows the child to safely put their hands and forearms on top of the balance box and get enough leverage to pull themselves up to stand. Versus if it was something that was a little bit taller, they would have a harder time reaching it. So with the shorter height of the balance box, it makes it a lot easier for them to access the top surface when they're moving from a tall kneel position into standing. The next question I get is, will my child walk sooner? No, the little balance box will not force or help your child walk any sooner than their body is ready to do. That's the great thing about the little balance box. Your child isn't being put into anything, they're not supporting their body weight. So your child has to have a foundational element of a certain amount of core strength, coordination, and support and muscle strength to be able to utilize the balance box. And that's why we send with all of our balance boxes and also on our website our little checklist to make sure your baby's ready for the balance box, because we want to make sure that your child has developed those gross motor skills so they'll be able to safely and effectively use that little balance box when their bodies are ready. It's not based on when their age, it's based on when those gross motor skills are developed and they're ready to start using the balance box. The next question we get is, can you add some padding along the sides of the balance box? No. And the reason why is because children at this age, what are they doing? They're teething. They put everything in their mouth. And the last thing that we want to do is create a choking hazard. So if we put anything soft and pliable around the balance box and then the child starts chewing on it, it just creates a risk for something to break apart and become a choking hazard. So again, we don't put any type of padding around the surface, and this is why. And again, if we go back to making sure that your child's ready for it and they have the gross motor skills, then they're knowing how to hold themselves up and have proper control of their head and the trunk, and then they can safely use the balance box and you're not having to worry about needing a padded feature. The last question that I get asked is, why bamboo? Why not something brightly colored in plastic? Well, being a mom and physical therapist and also being an eco-friendly person, I figured since I was designing this, I wanted the best for not only our children, but also for the environment. So after looking into a bunch of different materials of how to manufacture the balance box, I decided to go with eco-friendly bamboo. It's great, it's sustainable, it has a really nice design pattern to it, very natural, so that way it blends in to your home with a little more aesthetic, like a piece of furniture, versus something wild, bright, and colorful. So that was one of the reasons why I decided on bamboo. Looks great and also eco-friendly and sustainable for our environment. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. See you next time.